first, talk about the term zoology and why it is important. Now, to define the word zoology, we will. It's basically important to actually understand the terms, because if we can actually understand the terms, then you actually get a meaning, or actually at least basic idea about what the topic is and what we are going to learn. Now, if we talk about, if we try to define the word zoology, zoo means animal and logos means, or logia means to study. So basically, this particular topic or animal bioscience topic, we are basically going to talk about the to study the animals or different aspects of animal kingdom. So basically, we can say that this is study of animals. So basically, it means the scientific study of the behavior, structure, physiology, classification, and distribution of animals. Now, to actually understand the classification, why it is important to understand the classification? Now, zoological classification is the ordering of animals into groups on the basis of their relationship. Now, all the animals of this world they constitute the animal kingdom, and this kingdom is can be again divided into sub kingdoms. So basically, we are talking about kingdom Animalia, and it can be again subdivided into sub kingdoms. Now, this is actually the taxonomic levels. Now, the largest taxonomic level is kingdom, and then we can gradually go more to the specific grouping, and the lowest or the smallest taxonomic level will is the species. Now, as as I am discussing, that the kingdom can be divided into sub kingdoms, and then the sub kingdoms can be further subdivided into phylum or phyla in plural, classes, orders, family, genus, and species, based on few fundamental characteristics. Now, let us discuss these points first. Now, the history of biological classification begins with Aristotle, the great Greek philosopher, who is often called the father of the biological classification. He described animal classification based on their habitat. That is, whether their habitat is air, water, or land. He was the first person to recognize the need for groups and group names in the study of the animal kingdom. Later, biologists started to work on the classification of living organisms based on their characteristics or morphological characteristics. Now, the classification scheme that we are actually discussing is based on their morphological identification or morphological characterization, but we can now, with the advanced tools, where we can actually study the genomic structure or the gene sequences or the similarities in genomic structures, then we can actually do molecular characterization also, which is much more advanced. But in this classification scheme, we will stick to the morphological classification of invertebrates. Now, the basis of classification are as follows. So we can actually, do our classification. We can actually study our classification based on few parameters. The first parameter is level of organization. Now, that is either the level of organization is at the cellular level, or the organisms are having tissue, organ, or organ systems. Okay. Now, at the cellular level, we could actually have unicellular or multicellular organism, as you can see over here. Now, unicellular organisms are grouped under the subkingdom Protozoa. Here it is. All the multicellular animals are grouped under the subkingdom Metazoa. So, starting from the Porifera, all the animals are actually being grouped under the subkingdom Metazoa, which are further subdivided into different phyla based on their presence of tissue, organ, or organ system. Few examples of unicellular organisms are like for the protozoans are like amoeba, paramecium, etc. The next phylum, which is Porifera, which is one of the most primitive of the multicellular animal, poriferans, they actually lack any kind of tissue or organ systems, but they are having multiple number of cells. Examples are like Scypha and Spongilla. Then the next parameter is symmetry. You can see over here. After Porifera, all the animals are showing uh, tissue or organ level of organization. Now, next they can be further subdivided into more phyla based on their either they are having based on their symmetry. Now, basically the symmetry, if we want to discuss about symmetry, let us change the slide. So you can see that symmetry can again be categorized in these three category like asymmetrical, radially symmetrical, or bilaterally symmetrical. Now, basically, most of the protozoans or poriferans, you can actually find out the asymmetrical composition or asymmetrical body shape. That means here you can see that no matter how you cut it, the two halves will never be the same. That means you cannot find any type of symmetry. And then comes the radial symmetry. Radial symmetry means arrangement of the body parts around the central axis like rays on a sun. Radially symmetrical animals have a top and bottom surface, but no left or right sides or front or back. That means any line passing through the center will divide the body into two similar halves. So that means if whatever you choose a you know, any plane, you choose any plane, the body, the two halves will be of mirror image to each other. Now, radially symmetrical animals can again be subdivided into two phylums, that is Nidaria, which is previously known as Coelenterata, and also Ctenophora. Uh, so basically, uh, these two can be again, be termed as Coelenterata. So basically, this is with radially symmetrical animals, but here you can see the example of a starfish. So we will talk about that later, how starfish is become radially symmetrical. And then the third one is the bilaterally symmetrical, which means a basic body plan in which the left and right side, left and is right and left. So left and right sides of the organism can be divided into approximate mirror images of each other along with the midline. So the body can be divided into two similar halves only through one plane along the midline. So these are the three different types of symmetry based on which you can further subdivide it, the phylums. So radially symmetrical animals actually consist of the Coelenterata, that is Nidaria or Ctenophora. Then all the other phylums actually belongs to the bilaterally symmetrical animals. Now all the bilaterally symmetrical, so few examples of Nidarians are like Aurelia and Ovelia species, few examples of Ctenophora. species. Then third group we can say them as Coelomata. Coelomata definitely having a true body cavity or coelom, which can again be further subdivided into more phyla such as Annelida, examples are Peritima, Arthropoda, examples are crabs and mosquito, mollusca, examples are Phyla and octopus, Echinodermata, examples are starfish, and quadrupeds like Hemiperdata and also now in the slide, in the previous slide, like in this slide, we have seen that the starfish is actually showing a bilaterally symmetrical. Although, so basically we can say that although the echinoderms showing adult echinoderms are showing radial symmetry, but at the larval stage, and also when they are young, they are actually showing the bilateral symmetry. And most of the characteristics are similar with the other echinoderms, so that is why they are also being grouped under bilaterally. Which in this world is mostly dominated by the invertebrates. See over here, the biggest groups are in the arthropods and like also the cortexes. Cortex are like few, and we are actually comparing with the invertebrates. Now, this based on the number, on the diversity, definitely, but actually we consider the number. But clearly the winner what invertebrates are. Now, let's just talk about how protozoa discuss unicellular whether they are called. They have been assigned category there actually based on living and which is one and widely accepted by although other taxonomies like in 1940 Parker and Haswell 1949 and also they previously assigned protozoa as a type. The word protozoa comes from the Greek word protozoa and it's animals, so they are the first of the type of thing. There are about 50,000 known species of phylum Protozoa, of which the most well-known is definitely we all know that example Emmy. Now let us first talk about the general characteristics of Protozoa before going into the classification scheme. So basically we can say that the first characteristics that we can discuss is kingdom, definitely the belongs to the kingdom India. cellular organization. They are known as acellular or non-cellular organisms. A single protozoan body consists of only a mass of protoplasm, so they called acellular or non-cellular. Third is habitat, mostly aquatic, either free-living or parasitic or commensal. You can see the diversity, like depending on the habitat, they can be of many different types. Fourth one is complexity of organization. Protoplasmic grade of organization. Single cell performs all the vital functions. Thus, the single cell acts as the whole body, and that is what the unicellular. Sixth one is body covering. Body of the protozoa is either naked or covered by a pellicle. Locomotion, locomotory organs, pseudopodia, also called false mode, or cilia, or can be absent. There can be no locomotory, specific locomotory organ. Seventh point is nutrition. Nutritions are holophytic, like plants, or holozoic, like animals, or saprophytic, or can be of parasites. So, even in the nutritional pattern, you can actually see that diversity among all the different groups of protozoa. Eighth point is digestion. Digestion is intracellular, that means within the cell occurs, which actually occurs in the food vacuoles. Now, basically, they are single unicellular animals, so there is no possibility of being an intercellular. Ninth point is respiration through the body surface. Definitely, there is no such specific respiratory organ. 10th point is osmoregulation. Contractile vacuoles helps in osmoregulation. 11th point is reproduction. Reproduction mostly asexual. Asexual reproduction is through binary fission or budding. Sexual reproduction can also be present in few groups, and this is ingamy conjugation. 12th, another point that I can add in the general characteristics, that is life cycle. The life cycle often complicated with the alteration of sexual and asexual phases, which is known as alteration of generation. So these are the general characteristics, and based on these general characteristics, all the different types of animals are being categorized under the group subkingdom. Now let us talk about the subkingdom classification scheme of subkingdom. Now, subkingdom protozoa can be further subdivided into 7 phylums, and these are Sarcomastigophora, Labyrinthodonta, Epicomplexa, Microspora, Asectospora, Mixozoa, and Oleo. So basically, you can see that there are so many different, Celiophora. Sorry, the last phylum is Celiophora. So basically, you can say, or we can see that, there is a huge diversity. When the subkingdom protozoa can be subdivided into 7 phylums, which are again being subdivided into many different subphylums and classes. Now, a phylum, if we talk about, let's start with the phylum, first phylum or phylum 1, which is Sarcomastigophora. A few characteristic points of this phylum. Families are there is no spore formation. Ingamy occurs. Phylum further subdivided into subphylums, that are Mastigophora, Polyneata, and Sarcodina. Now, subphylum, the first subphylum is Mastigophora. General characteristic points are they are commonly called flagellates. The body is covered by a pellicle. Binary fission is longitudinal. They are mostly free-living. This subphylum can be further subdivided into 2 classes, Phytomastigophora and Zoomastigophora. First class is Phytomastigophora. The general characteristics are chlorophyll bearing chromatophores and they have usually one or two flagella. Reserved food, starch or paramylon. Examples are euglena and second class is Zoomasticophora. Chlorophyll or chromatophores are absent. Flagella, one or many. Reserved food is glycogen. Examples are Trypanosoma or Leishmania species. Now, the second subphylum is Opalinata. Opalinata again can be subdivided. Again, is having actually a single class, which is class Opalinata. The general characteristic points are they have numerous cilia like organelles, oblique rows over the entire body surface. There is no cytostome. There is syngamy with flagellated anisogametes. All are parasitic in nature. Mainly, the host organisms are frogs or toads. Example: Opalina sp. Third subphylum is Sarcodina. This consists of two superclasses. The first superclass is Rhizopoda. Here, locomotory organelles are Cyclopodia, Logopodian or Phyllopodia, but never Exopodia. They are generally creeping forms. Examples are amoeba or entamoeba. This superclass Rhizopoda can be further subdivided into many classes. The first one is Logosia, then Amoeboidea, then Actricia, then Eumyctozoa, then Plasmodiophora, then Pilosia, then Granuloreticulosa, and then Xenopyomorpha. So basically, these are the different classes of under the superclass Rhizopoda. Then the next superclass is actually the Actinopoda. Pseudopodia many and mainly Exopodia. So basically in Rhizopoda we have seen that either it's Logopodia or Phyllopodia, but in case of Actinopoda superclass it's Exopodia with axial filaments, and they are primarily sessile or floating forms. Example: Actinoperium species. The Actinopoda superclass again we part of the body complex. Typical complex is made up of wings, micro and submolecular microtubule. Microspores generally present at some stage. They reproduce sexually by singlet. Examples: Plasmodium or Parkinson's species. This particular phylum, the complexa, can again be subdivided into classes. Sporozoa, in which Plasmodium belongs. Examples are Plasmodium and Parkinson, where the examples can be Parkinsia. Then phylum 4 is Microspora, obligatory intracellular parasites found in nearly all major animal groups. Spores, cellular, each with imperforate wall containing one uninucleate or dinucleate sporoplasm. Spore is with simple or complex apparatus, exclusion apparatus associated with polar tube and polar cap. Mitochondria absent in spores. Example, Nosema. Microspora phylum can again be subdivided into two classes, Fruity Microspora and Microsporia. Now, phylum 5 is Asectospora. All are parasitic. In most of the cases, spores are multicellular. Spores with one or more sporoplasm. Spores without polar capsule or polar filaments. Example, Haplosporidium species. Again, it has two classes, Stellatophoria and Paramecia. Then phylum 6 is Mixozoa. All species are parasitic. Spores are of multicellular origin with one or more polar capsules and sporoplasm. Each spore with one, two, or three, barely more, basically it is being restricted with these numbers, either one of these three numbers. So each spore is either with one, two, or three follows. Examples, Myxedium. It has again can be subdivided into two classes, Myxospora and Actinospora. Then the last phylum is definitely Celiophora. Phylum 7 or the last phylum. Most of the species are actually free living. Quite a number is commensal, some truly parasitic, and a large number are found as symbiotic depending on variety of host. So basically, they can be either commensal, they can be true parasites, they can cilia, at least one stage of their life cycle. Nuclei are found about micronucleus, and basically one of them are actually participating in the production process, while the other is not like the micronucleus, and experiments or research Asexual reproduction by transverse binary fission, but budding and multiple fission also occur. So this is the type of, this is the way of asexual reproduction that actually occurs in the Heliopora. Then also they are actually also they can actually perform the uh, sexual mode of reproduction, and sexual reproduction involves conjugation, autogamy, and semen. Examples are Paramecium species, and they can again be subdivided into three classes such as Kineto, Fragmentophoria, Polymorphophoria, and Morphodia, and Oligohymenoporia. Paramecium species belongs to the Oligohymenoporia. So this is the uh, discussion on the classification of protozoa. So in this particular class, we actually started from the basics of why we need to actually study animal science and what is the importance of animal science. Then what is the importance of studying the classification of different animal groups, and what are the different types of classification level or the taxonomic level. And then we talked about the different parameters on which actually the morphologically this is actually based on morphological characteristics. So on which parameters they are actually being grouped separately or being grouped in a same group. And then we talked about the subkingdom protozoa, general characteristics points, and also the basic classification scheme with few of their important characteristic points, and also with the example. So let me stop sharing my slides, and I'm going to end this particular class today, and we will continue in the next class with the more of the classification.